Live from Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida, Nesson presents Grapefruit League Baseball. Today, the Boston Red Sox travel north to take on the Baltimore Orioles. Hello, everyone. Tom Caron in for Dave O'Brien. Jerry Remy, the Rem Dog, with us as always. 1 week from tonight, the Red Sox will be leaving Montreal, heading to Cleveland to get ready for the season opener. There's been a lot of stories down here in camp, Jerry, but very quietly, Jackie Bradley Jr. has not been a story, and he should be. He's had a terrific spring.
He really has. You know, it looks like he's set to get very consistent at the plate, which is what the Red Sox are looking for. And, you know, over the last couple of seasons, we've seen a lot of inconsistency at home plate from him, but he's always been such a great defender that you've got to have him in the lineup. I think he solidified his spot in center field for the Red Sox the way he swung the bat this spring. And I think one of the big differences for him is the fact that he's using the whole field. He's been going to left field, center field, pulling the ball when he has to. And that's something, when he gets in trouble, he becomes strictly a pull hitter. Results a lot of ground balls at second base and lazy fly balls to the outfield. That has not been the case at all this spring. He's really looked really good offensively, and we know what he can do with the defense.
And he's had discipline at the plate. Highest on-base percentage of any Red Sox hitter here in spring training. It'll be Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, and Chris Young in the outfield. They expect that outfield to play most of the game. Stay with us. First pitch from Sarasota coming up. Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida, the spring training home of the Baltimore Orioles. Tom Caron, Jerry Remy, Karen Austin with you for a little afternoon baseball here as Grapefruit League play continues. And to get things started, it's the singing of our national anthem.
You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
hand here in Sarasota as we get ready for some baseball. 25th game of the Grapefruit League season for the Red Sox as they take on the Orioles today. Let's take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup. A major league outfield, Jerry. Mookie Betts in right, Jackie Bradley Jr. in center, Chris Young in left. David Murphy is the designated hitter. Alan Craig at first. Sandy Leon behind the plate. And the infield is going to have a little different look today. Rafael Devers is your third baseman, highly touted prospect. Mauricio Dubon is the shortstop. Mike Miller is the second baseman. The major league infielders have all stayed back in Fort Myers, going through kind of a preseason infield camp, if you will, with Brian Butterfield. That lineup of the Red Sox facing this man for the Orioles, Giovanni Gallardo, his 10th major league season. 7 straight seasons where he has made 30 starts or more. He's been durable and he's been good by and large. Signed a 2-year contract with the Orioles back in February.
And the defense today for the Orioles, they'll have Manny Machado at third base, J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, Jonathan Scope at second, and Chris Davis, the first baseman. Left to right, Joey Rickard, Adam Jones, and Mark Trumbo, and Caleb Joseph doing the catching for Gallardo.
An Orioles team that has bashed its way to success in recent years, and they've got most of those big bashers out there here today. Toby Basner is the home plate umpire. John Hirschbeck at first base. Brian Honora is the crew chief at second base, and Fielden Kelbreth is your third base umpire this afternoon. A warm, sunny day here, as you'd expect in late March in Florida. 84 degrees here, 63% humidity, so not as humid as it was last night on a steamy night at JetBlue Park. 6-3 win for the Red Sox last night over the Pittsburgh Pirates. They try to carry that here to Sarasota, where they take on the Orioles this afternoon. Glad you could join us here. 1 week from tonight, the Red Sox will already be on the way to Cleveland after a couple of games in Montreal, getting ready for the season opener at Progressive Field against the Indians on Monday the 4th, but work to be done between now and then. First pitch of the game to Mookie Betts, and we are underway here at Ed Smith Stadium.
TC, you mentioned today the outfield is coming on this trip. The infield is back at Fort Myers, going through a session with Brian Butterfield, and a lot of that talk is about shifts and how to handle different infield situations, and so they got not the day off. There's still a workout for them after they have that meeting, but that meeting was being held about 8:30 this morning.
John Farrell called it Butter School. Brian Butterfield putting everybody through the paces, making sure everyone is on the same page as they get ready to break camp. As we said, work to be done between now and the end of camp. Decisions to be made. One of those decisions, not who will be the right fielder. Mookie Betts has had himself a nice spring, leading the team with 4 home runs here in Grapefruit League play, hitting .261. He drives Gallardo's pitch to right field, but there to make the catch was Mark Trumbo, who had to step in, make that catch for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, with every breeze there is today, it's blowing from right to left, and I think that ball got knocked down just a little bit and kind of surprised Trumbo. You see, he had to come in a few steps before making that play.
Mark Trumbo, of course, the former Los Angeles Angel last year, was in Arizona and then traded to Seattle. Did not re-sign with Seattle and ultimately signed with these Orioles, but that was relatively late in coming as well. Signed March 10th with this team. One down here for Jackie Bradley Jr., who we talked about in the open today. .432 is on base percentage, Jerry. That's the best of anyone on this team in Grapefruit League play.
Yeah, it's been a very consistent offense and defensive spring for Jackie Bradley Jr.
2-0 from Gallardo. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Bradley.
Well, that .364 average will jump after that. Bradley get the ground ball right up the middle. Once it gets by Gallardo, no chance for anybody, Jonathan Scope or J.J. Hardy, to make a play, and the Red Sox have their first base run of the afternoon. There's a ball that even if Scope dives for it and makes a play on it, he's not going to throw Bradley out at first base.
Bradley now 13 for 34 at spring training play. So important for him to get off to a good start offensively, Jerry. You know what he can do with the glove. Just needs to hit a little bit to establish himself as an everyday major leaguer. Chris Young shows bunt and takes it back.
Now, sometimes they'll do that just to give Bradley, and if Casey's thinking about steal, maybe a strike to work with. And the reason that you fake a bunt is you pull the bat back in the face of the catcher to keep him back as long as possible so he can't come up to catch the ball and release quickly to second base.
Bradley back over to first base. Young, the 32-year-old, won 1,200 major league games. Came over from the Yankees in the offseason. There's a lot of talk about Young platooning with Rusney Castillo. Now more and more talk about Brock Holt being part of that left field mix. It's down at the winter meetings in Nashville back in December, and it was Buck Showalter, the Orioles manager, who was quick to tell me he thought Chris Young was going to get a lot more playing time than people expect. He said that was a very quiet but very impressive signing for the Red Sox.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of headlines when the Red Sox signed him, but watching him with the Yankees last year, we knew they were getting a good outfielder.
He's got that pull swing that you would think could do a lot of damage at Fenway Park, Jerry, wearing out that wall and left.
Well, you hope, they always say that about right-handers when they come to Fenway, that you hope, they can take advantage of that wall. And, boy, if you let the wall get to you, though, it can work to your disadvantage if you just try to pull everything. And that's why you got to continue to think up the middle. And if you pull it, that's even better news.
Bradley going and Young fouling off the pitch. You saw those splits. A 145 difference. 145 points batting average difference between what he does against lefties and what he does against righties. That's why, no surprise, day one of camp, John Farrell said he's going to be in there against left-handed pitchers. We'll see what happens the rest of the time, but Chris Young is going to play when we face a lefty.
Yeah, and I think the question right now is, where does Rusney Castillo fit into all of this? Because Brock Holt, as you mentioned, has been playing a lot of left field, and so has Young.
The 2-2, Young drives this one high to left field. Rickard backtracks under it, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. David Murphy coming up now with 2 down, and Bradley still on first. Decision day coming on David Murphy over the next 36 hours, really. His opportunity to opt out if he's not on that 40-man roster, or 25-man roster, I guess. And again, with all that talk of Holt and Young and Castillo, it's a crowded outfield.
That's why they wait till the last minute, too, because you saw what happened. If you watched the game last night, Castillo fouling the ball off his foot, he's okay, but you never know when that can turn into a disableist possibility. Then you've got a guy like Murphy that can take over that position.
Originally drafted by the Red Sox in the first round of the 2003 draft out of Baylor University. Was traded in 2007, that July 31st deal that brought Eric Gagne back from the Texas Rangers. Some people are surprised to see Murphy signed. He's a guy who's been a successful offensive player, certainly, and last year hit .283 in his time combined between the Indians and the Angels. But we talk about that musical chairs game, and once spring training starts, those opportunities might be hard to find, even for a veteran.
Orioles have the shift on Murphy. 3 players on the right side of the infield.
2-0. Ground ball moving over is the shortstop Hardy, who is way over on that side. No runs for the Sox here in the first.
There's a lot to see.
first inning at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida. Take a look at that Orioles lineup. Joey Rickard is in left field and leading off a Rule 5 pickup from Tampa Bay. Adam Jones, Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, Pedro Alvarez, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and Caleb Joseph. Your lineup for the Orioles this afternoon against Justin Haley, the big right-hander for the Red Sox. 6'5", 235-pounder. Pitched for the Portland Sea Dogs last season. Has good velocity, but the ongoing work is to get a consistent secondary pitch that'll help offset that fastball. Clay Buchholz slated to pitch today. He already threw a minor league game against the High A Twins. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. Roenis Elias was expected to pitch today and will, but John Farrell has decided they'd rather see him out of the bullpen here. He hasn't done a lot of relieving, so they go with a young pitcher, Haley, the 24-year-old who was an 8th-round pick in the 2012 draft. And that just nicked Rickard, who will be given first base.
Let's look at the Red Sox defense this afternoon. Rafael Devers will be at third base. Mauricio Dubon at shortstop. Mike Miller at second. Alan Craig, the first baseman. Left to right, Chris Young, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. And Sandy Leon doing the catching for Haley.
And control was the issue for Haley, and sure enough, trouble with it there. 15 wild pitches last season in Portland. That led the Eastern League. Now he will face Adam Jones batting second. 9th year with the Orioles now. 27 homers last season. His numbers were down a bit, though. The batting average at .269, 82 RBI. One and one now, the count.
Yeah, talking about young players like Haley, and most guys come to the minor leagues with good fastballs, and what they have to really work on are their secondary pitches. Breaking ball, curveball, slider, changeup.
Swing and a miss there for Jones.
Yeah, to be effective at the major league level or even in higher minor league categories, you've got to have some secondary pitches to complement those fastballs.
Last year seemed to be that adjustment year for Haley. 2 seasons ago, had a strong year. Salem and High A moved up to Portland when it combined 10-6 with a 2.35 earned run average. Jones sends this one to center field. Bradley and Betts are there, and Betts will make the catch for the first out of the inning. But after that season, the wall was hit a bit for Haley last year. 5-16 with a 5.15 ERA. That's 16 losses, the most in the organization. But then he went to the Arizona Fall League in the offseason, was much more successful. And the AFL, of course, a gathering of the top young prospects in the game. His ERA was under 1 in 4 starts. They feel that should give him some confidence coming back into this season to try to build on. And he is looking at a lineup that will hit the ball as hard and as far as just about any lineup in the game. Manny Machado part of that. Machado last season, 35 home runs. The second youngest player in Oriole history to have a 30 home run season. The other guy has a barbecue stand out on Utah Street, Boog Powell. And Machado rips that one to left field, so a base hit with 1 out will put 2 on for the Orioles here in the first.
Yeah, Machado getting that fastball inside that time and really cleaning it out. Hard line drive to left. You see the location of the pitch is going to be just above the belt, inside part of the plate. And Machado with the hard line drive to left field. Chris Young has to quickly get it back in, so 2 on, first and second, 1 out. And the big power guy.
Yeah, Chris Davis, who led all of Major League Baseball with 47 home runs last season, 3rd in baseball with 117 runs batted in, and he's in an RBI situation here with one down in the first. Fouls away the first pitch from Haley.
And most of the time we see the shift put on with Davis, but with the man in scoring position at second base, we do not see it. They're certainly playing him to pull in the infield. But Dubon, the shortstop, to the shortstop side of second base.
Haley gets ahead of him 0-2. Davis, the only player in Orioles history to have two separate 40 home run seasons. When he came into this offseason, there was a question whether or not he would go elsewhere via free agency. It was a bit of a long, protracted situation that they finally got done. And he is back in there as the cleanup hitter once again. And look at that power down the middle of the lineup, Jerry. 27 homers for Jones last year, 35 for Machado, 47 for Davis. You bring Trumbo in, who had 22 combined with Arizona and Seattle. Pedro Alvarez. Runners going, the throw not in time from Leon. Looked like the throw was there, but by the time Devers got over, wasn't in a position to make the catch and tag.
Yeah, Devers, he hesitated at third base and was on the move trying to make this play. See how far he is off the bag? He got caught by surprise there, so he's trying to make that catch on the run, and that's a very difficult thing to do. The throw was a good one by Sandy Leon, but the third baseman was nowhere to be found. He was just on the move going to the bag.
So two in scoring position now for Davis. The 0-2 pitch. Fouls it off again. So Davis making contact with everything he's seen from Haley so far. Pitch from Haley, strike three, got him.
Now, huge strikeout for Haley. 2 men in scoring position against Davis, who can quickly put 3 on the board. Guess to look at a pitch that's down about knee-high inside corner. One batter away from getting out of this mess.
That'll bring up Mark Trumbo with 2 down now. The former Angel and Diamondback and Mariner, now beginning a new chapter in his career with the Orioles. Fouls off the first pitch. Trumbo was part of a 6-player deal last year when he went from Arizona to Seattle. 13 home runs with the Mariners after the trade. His combined numbers there between the two teams. From Haley, misses outside, 1-1. Good opportunity for the young pitcher to try to pitch out of a jam here. He hit Joey Rickard to lead off the inning, and then Machado with a single. Double steal moves the runners into scoring position. And he gets the corner there, so 1-2 the count now to Trumbo.
Yeah, it's interesting. We saw something this morning that I have never seen in baseball before. Buck Showalter and the Orioles working out prior to the ball game, and they were taking infield, and as they were doing that, they were playing. Was it
Sweet Georgia Brown?
Sweet Georgia Brown
from the Harlem Globetrotters fame.
And then they were working on pop-ups to the infield and outfield, and they had crowd noise pumped into the ballpark. Now, I have never seen that before with any major league team. But that was, so they could hear guys, make sure they hear guys calling off for the pop-ups, and it was actually pretty loud crowd noise that was buzzing into the stadium. That was way before batting practice.
Buck Showalter is an innovator, no question about that. Trumbo slices one down the right field line, a base hit, and that'll drive in 2 runs, a 2-out, 2-run double for Mark Trumbo, and the Orioles lead 2-0 here in the first.
Well, it's nothing like cutting down your swing when you got a couple of strikes on you. That's exactly what Trumbo does. He makes a pretty good pitch up and away, but he's able to shorten that swing a little bit and take it to the opposite field and drive in 2 runs. So very good hitting there by Trumbo. So the hit batter really hurts him. The leadoff man, he'll come around and score along with another run.
So close, 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Trumbo instead goes opposite field, and the Orioles go up 2-0 here in the first. That'll bring up Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez signed with the team just a couple of weeks ago. The 29-year-old has averaged 28 homers in each of his last 4 seasons. Expected to be the primary designated hitter on this team, and he kind of balances out what's a right-handed heavy lineup here, Jerry.
Yeah, they got a good quality hitter here that can has some pop in his bat that kind of fits right in with the Oriole offense.
And here's a base hit to right field. That'll bring Trumbo around from second base. So back-to-back 2-out hits here for the Orioles and a 3-0 lead in the first.
Well, no home runs this inning for the Orioles, but 3 runs on the board as Pedro Alvarez goes down to kind of hook one. A ball that was down and away, hooks it into right field and center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. plays it, but 3-0 now here in the first inning.
And the work not done, J.J. Hardy. The shortstop will step up. Another guy who's got power. 94 homers over the last 5 seasons. That's 3rd most Major League shortstops. Fits right into this lineup. This one high. Coming in from right field is Betts, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. But 3 runs for the O's as we head to the second.
Meet the new John Deere Gator.
Welcome back to Ed Smith Stadium. Top of the second, the Orioles with a 3-0 lead over the Red Sox. I'm Garen Austin. TC, Jerry, some very good news for Pablo Sandoval. John Farrell said he's made significant improvement in the past 2 days. He took ground balls today and swung from both sides of the plate, 15 swings on each side. Said his full range of motion seems to be back, and they'll reevaluate him tomorrow, and they hope to get him in a game on Monday or Tuesday. Also good news on Eduardo Rodriguez. John Farrell said that he had a really good work week. He continues to get more comfortable on the mound, and he's favoring his knee less, which is what they want to see before they increase his intensity and his workload. And guys, no update on Carson Smith.
All right, Garrett, thanks very much. Yeah, that last part is a little worrisome, although John Farrell says they think they're getting to the point where they can evaluate Smith. I figured originally it'd be 5-6 days. before they can really even start a plan. And you're right around that 5 days now, that forearm. Listen, anytime you talk about a forearm, your immediate worry is the elbow, right? And then you're going to be going to see Dr. Andrews. None of that has happened, so it's all good news on that front.
I think they're letting it quiet down right now and see where to go from there with Carson Smith. That's a big loss for the Red Sox early in the season.
Alan Craig leading off the second inning for Boston. Slices that one foul.
Good news on the Sandoval front, as we could see it yesterday. You know, he was moving around a lot better yesterday, playing catch on the field. I did not see him take any swings, but as Garen said, did today. So he should be ready to be back in a game probably by Monday. And, of course, the debate will go on, as it has been for the last week. Travis Shaw or Pablo Sandoval.
Well, from what John Farrell was telling us earlier today, Monday is a big day in a lot of ways for this team. Sounds like that's when they'll be having their meetings as an organization, try to map out the final days of spring training, but really start to hone in on who will head north, who will head to Cleveland, and who will not. And certainly the third base situation is part of that decision-making process. As Alan Craig draws a walk to begin the second inning. You know, who's in left, who's staying on the bench. They're going to have a strong bench, Jerry. I don't think there's any question about that. You talk about, you know, if Brock Holt's not starting, he's on the bench. Talk about maybe a Chris Young if it's Castillo out there. You got Travis Shaw or Pablo Sandoval on the bench. Ryan Hannigan is better than your average backup catcher. So the depth is there for this team. Yeah, it is, and they got to feel very, very good about that situation. I think the two biggest concerns going into the season would be obviously the injury to Rodriguez. First pitch swinging here to base hit for Sandy Leon. So 2 on, nobody out to begin the second inning off Gallardo.
Yeah, the injury to Rodriguez and also to Carson Smith, because it hurts the starting rotation, it hurts the bullpen. So I think that was probably their biggest concern. Dave Dombrowski here today, as he is at every Red Sox game, home or away.
Saw Dave Dombrowski in the media dining room before the game today. That's not something every general manager or president of baseball operations does.
He's got to eat, though. You know,
a lot of them like to do it, you know, privately, quietly. So guys like you and me aren't in their face asking who's going to start at third. You know, now that you're out there as the intrepid reporter you've become over this spring training, I think you're going to see that guys start to avoid you a little bit because you're always trying to get the scoop.
Yeah, you know. Actually, I'm not trying to get any scoops. I can figure those out for myself.
Swing and a miss there for Rafael Devers. Devers, by the way, one of the top prospects in the organization, in fact, in the entire game. Baseball America ranking him as the 18th best prospect in all of baseball right now. Just a 19-year-old who last season hit .288 with single-A Greenville. Get an opportunity against Major League pitching today and got a chance with 2 on and nobody out to do something. Three and 1 the count now to Devers. So you're not running after guys in the hallway with your reporter's notebook out and a pen?
No, that would look kind of foolish after 28 years. So what I do is I try to take it all inside. I will make an announcement on opening day who the third baseman is going to be.
Looking forward to that. Well, do that in the pregame show for us, will you? Yeah. We can tease that. Coming up later, Jerry Remy tells us who's at third today.
Actually, I'll find out before that. I'll let you know, TC.
All right, thank you. I look for the text from Cleveland. So Devers draws the walk here, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And that'll bring up Mauricio Dubon, the shortstop here for the Red Sox today. Dubon, 21-year-old, is a 2013 draft pick who hit .301 last year with Greenville before getting the move up to high A Salem. First pitch swinging. Dubon's got speed, 30 stolen bases last year. That's fourth most in the organization.
Third at bat he's had in the Red Sox spring training camp. He's 1 for 2 so far in very, very limited action.
And yet here he will add to that with a base hit to center field. That'll bring in 1 run, make it 2 as the Red Sox cut the lead to 1 on a 2-run single from Mauricio Dubon.
Now he is 2 for 3 in a Red Sox uniform in spring training games with a couple of RBIs. Taking the ball the other way towards center field, a little bit toward the end of the bat. Was not exactly hit all that hard, but great placement in front of Adam Jones. And the Red Sox come back with 2 of their own. Still nobody out in the inning.
The number 9 hitter, the second baseman, Mike Miller, now looking to add to that. 2 walks, 2 singles to begin this second inning for the Red Sox.
If the Red Sox want to run Dubon at first base, they can certainly do so because it takes Gallardo a long time to get that ball to home plate.
The meeting out on the mound here after that pitch. Dave Wallace, former Red Sox pitching coach. Now in his, third year as pitching coach here in Baltimore. And there's the clock. Dave Wallace got to jog back up. And that's why, Dave Wallace seemed to go running out there quickly. I forgot about the clock. Was afraid Gallardo may have suffered an injury, but Wallace wanted to maximize his 30 seconds with his pitcher. In fact, he had 10 seconds to spare. He came off quick. Got the message out there.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more pitching coaches run out to the mound now.
Gets the outside corner there for the called strike. Miller, the 26-year-old infielder, playing in his third spring training game. This is the first at-bat, though. He's coming as a defensive replacement or pinch runner. Ground to third here. They'll try to go around the horn, and they do. Machado to Scope to Davis for the double play, and Devers has to stay at third base.
That's a base running mistake by Devers at third base. When you get nobody out, if you're the runner at third in a double play ball, you got to go because you don't want the double play. If you get thrown out at home plate, that's okay. You'd rather have men at first and second with the 1 out rather than have this situation, a man at third now with 2 outs. So a little bit of a base running mistake down there at third base.
You want to sacrifice yourself to break up that double play if you can, or you get the run. You got neither here, and so you have 2 outs with the man on third for Mookie Betts. That's flied out to right field in his first at-bat. Gallardo gets the called strike there. Betts will begin the year with a .291 career batting average. He's done it all for the age of 23. His first Red Sox with 23 homers and 28 stolen bases by the age of 22, ever. Knew about the speed coming up, Jerry. I think people have been surprised that the power has remained there, and he drives this one to right field. That'll drive in Devers and tie the game at 3.
That's what I like to see from Mookie Betts. We know how quick he is inside, but when he gets those balls out over the plate and away, take that pitch to the opposite field. That's exactly what he's done all spring training long. And he's going to see a lot of that, too, this year. They're going to stay away from inside against Betts unless it's way in. He's going to have to prove to them that he can take that ball that's a middle out to the opposite field. If he does that, I don't know how they're going to get him out.
4th hit of the game already for the Red Sox off Gallardo. And this is what the Baltimore Orioles are expected to be, Jerry. Yesterday, they beat the Yankees 11-10. Already 3-3 here in the top of the second. We know the Orioles will hit the ball. The question is, do they have a rotation that can support that offense and give them a chance to contend in the AL East? We don't know.
No, we don't know that. And it struggled last season for the Baltimore Orioles. That was probably the biggest disappointment on the club, was the starting rotation.
A year after making it to the American League Championship Series, the Orioles, just a .500 team last year with 81 wins and 81 losses. They were dealing with a loss. They had lost Nelson Cruz after that 14 season. Nick Markakis, longtime Oriole, left. And Andrew Miller leaving really left a void in that bullpen. You see the numbers, 30 games over 500 in 2014. Dave Wallace done a good job with Ubaldo Jimenez, and some of the pitchers certainly showed steps forward last season. But after Tillman and Jimenez, you know, Gausman had an ERA over 4 last year. Miguel Gonzalez has struggled, and then you've kind of got a wide open race for the 5th spot of the rotation. Bradley, opposite field, high, far, and gone! A 2-out, 2-run home run for Jackie Bradley Jr. and the Red Sox lead 5-3.
Now, didn't we just talk about that in the open, about how he's used the whole field? He's already done it in the game today. A ground ball up the middle in his first at bat for a base hit. Now a long fly ball to the opposite field for the home run. And to me, that's the biggest difference I've seen in Bradley this spring. The ability to take the ball to the opposite field, and what an advantage that would be at Fenway Park to be able to use that left field wall.
A 5-run second inning for the Red Sox. As Bradley hits his 2nd home run of the spring, he's 2 for 2 with a single and the home run here already today. Chris Young trying to keep the inning going. Gallardo was potentially in the mix for that 5th and final spot in the rotation. Vance Worley, who we're expecting to see later, and a couple of minor league prospects in that hunt as well. Young under that one. High pop. Jonathan Scope, the second baseman, who was set up on the other side of the bag, comes back across to end the inning. 5 runs for the Sox. They lead by 2.
Welcome to
Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Buy Ace Ticket. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. And by Bob's Discount Furniture. It's Saturday afternoon baseball from Sarasota, the final weekend in Florida for the Red Sox. At least till they face the Tampa Bay Rays later in the season. Back home tomorrow in a game you will see here on NESN. Dave O'Brien will be back for that one as the Sox will take on Philadelphia, right? Got the Phillies tomorrow at 1. They're home to take on these Orioles again on Monday. Before that game, they will have a ceremony honoring David Ortiz as he wraps up his 20th and final Fort Myers spring training. Of course, called Fort Myers home with the Minnesota Twins as well as the Boston Red Sox. Nice idea to have the spring training home say goodbye to him as well.
Yeah, the first of many this season for David Ortiz.
Jonathan Scope leading off the second inning. The comebacker played there by Haley. One down here in the first. Well, Clay Buchholz, as we said, slated to pitch today because that is his turn in the rotation, and he did pitch today, just not here. He pitched in a high A game, minor league game against the Minnesota Twins, 5 1/3, scattered 8 singles and walked a couple of batters as well, gave up 2 earned runs while striking out 6. The good news there is 107 pitches for Buchholz, who deemed himself ready to go after the start.
And the reason, of course, the Red Sox did not want him here against the Orioles is a team they're going to see an awful lot this season. And if Buchholz has any new wrinkles, they don't want to certainly show them off to the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, he will very likely make his second start of the season against the Orioles. The home opener against Baltimore, as Caleb Joseph sends this one to right field for a base hit. So the catcher, Joseph, aboard with a 1-out single here in the second.
Caleb Joseph did a nice job backing up Matt Wieters. Wieters coming off a Tommy John surgery last season, was given some time off when needed, and Caleb Joseph filling in and doing a very good job behind the plate.
Well, he may need to again. Wieters left a game back, about 2 weeks ago now, March 12th, with shoulder stiffness, resumed throwing just this past Sunday, so they're not sure where he will be when the season begins, but they're pretty comfortable with Joseph back there. He's no Matt Wieters, but you got to make sure Matt Wieters is healthy, which is why, in part, the Red Sox are being so careful with Christian Vasquez as he returns from Tommy John surgery, because they've seen the sort of stutter steps that Matt Wieters has had to take since coming back from his surgery.
Yeah, I think they'd love to have Vasquez go down and get some time under his belt at AAA, play every day, give him a day off if needed, but to make sure everything's 100% and he's feeling 100% before he gets back to the major league level.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I've had a few things fall, but basically everything is going to be okay, TC. My monitor came crashing down.
Again, unflappable. It was just like Mo Vaughn dropping in last night. You don't miss a beat, you just keep rolling. You've got TVs falling over there, water bottles flying. Nobody knows if I hadn't brought it up. I suppose I should have been a professional and not brought it up.
Now, this is not the roomiest booth that we work out of in baseball, but it's tough when things come crashing down like the monitor and.
Well, and you opened up the door behind us, which I agree with, but it's got a little breeze coming through, so things are moving around. I don't know if you can see when you come upstairs here. You've got, this is it. What you see is what we get. Kind of can almost reach wall to wall, but that you can just out of the reach of what you can see is that monitor just came crash. There it is.
It's a big one too. It's a huge, good-sized monitor.
Yeah, sure. This is big time. Major League Baseball, they've got the...
I tell you, they've done a lot of nice work to this ballpark, because this used to be awful when the White Sox were here, and since Baltimore came over, they've done a nice job fixing it up.
Yeah, people who haven't been here, and I hadn't been here in a long time, almost seems like a completely different stadium now. Orioles are the 6th Major League team to call Sarasota home. They've been here since 2010. Red Sox called it home back in the 30s and 40s and 50s before moving to Winter Haven. Was anybody here when you were doing spring training in Winter Haven? Was that the White Sox maybe?
Sarasota, I'm trying to think. When we were in Winter Haven, I don't know if anybody was over here. We didn't make many trips down to this coast. Every once in a while we go to Fort Myers to play the Royals, who were down there at that time. I think it was Terry Park.
Well, spring training has changed a lot. These ballparks have by and large been renovated. They get big crowds now for most of these games. Another 10,000 plus crowd at JetBlue Park last night. Looks like a capacity crowd here this afternoon. Not a bad way to spend a Saturday afternoon in Florida. Catch a ball game. American League East foes who will play one another 19 times this season. The Orioles have kind of had the Red Sox numbers here over the years. Over the last 5-6 years, in fact, as Jones sends this one to right field. Runners had to hold as Betts came in, but a walk. In the middle of a couple of singles now, the bases are loaded with one out for Manny Machado.
Well, this game is good, like 15-13 written all over it right now. I mean, pitchers having a difficult time getting anybody out. The runner at second base, Joseph had to hold up. He wasn't quite sure whether Betts was going to catch that ball or not, so he could not score. But bases loaded with one out. And one of the best hitters in the game coming to the plate.
And that'll be Machado, who singled and later scored the second run of the game for the Orioles, who took a 3-0 lead in the first. The Red Sox answering back with 5 of their own in the second, but now the Orioles threatening here in the third. Check swing for Machado. The trouble for the Red Sox is that it stayed fair because Craig was well off the line. Machado was the only player in Major League Baseball last season to play in all 162 games. Fly ball left field, that'll hook foul. Orioles had 3 hits in the first inning. Now Caleb Joseph got things going here with a 1-out single. Joey Rickard then walked. Adam Jones with a single to right field. But out of respect for Mookie Betts in right, everybody held up. Now you've got an 0-2 count to Machado with the bases loaded, and he fouls that off.
Had a good swing at that, too. No balls, 2 strikes. Way too good a pitch right there to Machado.
Machado, only 23 years old. And is as good with the glove as he is with the bat. Takes a called third strike there as Haley gets him for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Machado completely fooled on this pitch. Let's see the location of that. He thought it was low, but certainly knee high, and just make his way back to the first base dugout. So good job there, getting the strikeout.
Now he's got to face Chris Davis. He struck out Davis back in the first inning. In that first inning, Haley had a chance to get out of it, but the 2-out, 2-run double for Trumbo. So when the big trouble began, Alvarez followed up with an RBI single of his own. Davis was voted the Orioles team MVP last season, hit .293 after the All-Star break. Takes called strike there, so Haley ahead 0-2.
And the Red Sox now go into the shift in the infield. They waited till it was 0-1. Now they go into the complete shift. Second baseman is not way back on the grass, but certainly deep at second. And Dubon to the right side of second base.
Haley missing inside there. Davis was acquired by the Orioles back in 2011 from the Texas Rangers for Koji Uehara. And Davis, that stretch run was really a big part of Buck Showalter's ability to get things changed in Baltimore. He fouls it off here. We all know what the Orioles did to the Red Sox in September of 2011. They took 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 at Fenway, then 2 out of 3 at Baltimore, including that final game that knocked them out of the playoffs. And though they didn't make the playoffs that year, 2011, Jerry, that really kind of set the table for what they've built on since.
One of the strangest nights I've had in my broadcasting career.
Down in the dirt. I was on the air live in the studio when Evan Longoria hit the home run for the Rays. We were about to throw to break. Instead, we threw to the offseason.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just like that. It was over.
I mean, the game ended in Baltimore. I turned to my right to watch the TV of the Tampa game, and all of a sudden Longoria hits that, and you're sitting there in disbelief saying you're going home.
Never saw it coming. 7-20 month of September back in 2011. Davis out ahead of it, fouls it off. Said it before, the Red Sox have really had trouble against the Orioles. In fact, each of their last 3 seasons, they lost 11 of their 19 games against Baltimore. Last year, at one point, were just 4-11 before they won their final 4 games against the O's. Swing and a miss. Haley got him. So the young pitcher pitches out of a jam, leaves him loaded. The Sox lead 5-3.
How fast is
Is it Reds?
5-3, Red Sox leading the Orioles after they get out of a bases-loaded jam there in the 2nd inning. The Bruins in Toronto tonight, the battle for Leafs. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 with Pee Wee Saturday. The puck drops at 7. Boston Bruins hockey lives on Nesson. A huge game for the Bruins tonight. 5 straight losses. And they're up in Toronto on a hockey night in Canada, north of the border. Hockey night in New England here on Nesson. Playoffs looming. They've got to turn things around. Red Sox, meantime, here in Sarasota, have a 5-3 lead, a 5-run 2nd inning. The story here. David Murphy leading off the 3rd. Gallardo back out there for a 3rd inning. Already given up 5 hits through 2. Falling behind 2-0 here. Last year with Texas, Gallardo won 13 games and had a 3.42 ERA. That was 11th best in the American League.
Imagine what's going through the mind of David Murphy right now. I mean, you know, where am I going to be in a matter of a couple of days? Am I going to be in a Red Sox uniform somewhere else? Maybe a minor league team? I mean, no clue right now.
And yet, to his credit, he has hit here at spring training. You know, joining the team late, put in a tough position. He's hitting over 300. Put up numbers like that, someone's going to give you a chance somewhere. Gallardo just misses outside of Murphy draws a walk to begin this 3rd inning. No better way to spend this spring vacation than with your family at Fenway Park. Great tickets still available. April 18th through the 21st. For more information and buy tickets, visit redsox.com/tickets. As I've pointed out, in the middle of that stretch, very nice Thursday afternoon matinee against the Rays, a 1:35 start on that Thursday. Of course, earlier in the week, you've got the Patriots Day 11 a.m. start. A couple of good chances to bring the kids to a day game and to stay out so late.
And hope maybe for a little warmer weather than we normally get in April.
Yeah, more often than not, it is a chilly Monday as Gallardo gets the outside strike.
Some of the writers were looking ahead to the weather in Cleveland on opening day.
Can you do that yet?
Well, according to their phones, they did, but they're telling me 35 degrees for opening day. I hope that changes. Still have plenty of time to change.
I'm sure the wind chill will make it feel like 25. There's a base hit to right field for Alan Craig. Murphy heading over to third, so a walk and a single to begin the third inning here for the Red Sox. As we take a look at the schedule for the 116th American League season of Boston Red Sox baseball opening day. It's a 4 o'clock start, huh?
4 o'clock start on opening day. Ceremonies probably begin about 3:30, 3 o'clock. As you guys will be on. You have an hour?
2:30, hour and a half.
Hour and a half show.
2:30 we come your way with pregame coverage.
And then a couple of 6 o'clock starts in Cleveland after a day off. The 5th is an off day. That's just in case opening day is rained out or snowed out or cold out or whatever it might be.
If it's gonna, if we hit next weekend and it's going to be raining in Cleveland or snowing in Cleveland, it looks like they should bring the Indians to Montreal and play the game in the Dome. The opening day up at the Big O.
They fill it up.
Get it in there. Move on. Chance here for Sandy Leone. He had a base hit back in the second inning. Scored one of the Red Sox 5 runs. David Murphy, Alan Craig on the corners. Nobody out here in the third. Red Sox already with 5 runs on the board. Yeah, I'm friends with some meteorologists, and I've gotten to know a lot of weather people over the years, and this is in no way meant as disrespect to them, but I'm not believing anything I see that's 11 days out.
Well, I'll believe it when I get off the plane from Montreal into Cleveland on that day before. I'll turn on the forecast at that time and see what it's going to be on opening day.
Leone sends this one to right field. Trumbo gets over. Tagging is Murphy. Good throw home from Trumbo, but Murphy in there for the 6th run of the game for the Red Sox.
I wonder if they'll appeal at third base. It looked to me like Murphy may have left a little bit early at third base, but it doesn't appear like they're going to. Nice slide, too, by Murphy coming in and sliding around the tag. Then you see the tag at third base. I thought that he maybe left a little early. Maybe it was his momentum, the top part of his body just leaning in that direction, and the foot was still in contact with the bag.
No appeal from the Orioles, so a 6-3 lead now in the third inning as Craig is gone. A stolen base there as the throw was on the wrong side of the bag. Looked like Craig would have beat it out anyway. Got a good jump.
Yeah, I told you earlier that you can run because it takes him a long time to get rid of the baseball as a pitcher. So I mean that kind of if you get any kind of speed at all, you should be able to take advantage of that. Now Craig's certainly not known as a base stealer, but they were paying no attention to him at all. He saw that slow delivery and then took second base.
Second half out of the game for Rafael Devers. Swing and a miss there. He drew a walk to load the bases back in the second inning. All 3 runs would eventually score.
Talking about stolen bases against Gallardo. Last year he allowed 10 on the season.
Misses high. Devers last year played in that Futures game at the All-Star game as a 19-year-old, one of the youngest Red Sox players to ever play in that Futures game. 115 games last season with the Greenville Drive. His .288 batting average was the 3rd best of any minor leaguer in the organization. The 70 RBI was 2nd most. The 2-2. Foul tip held on to by Joseph, so a strikeout of Devers for Gallardo here in the third.
Not really shortening the swing up very much with 2 strikes on him that time. He was going for the downs, it looked like. And that time, no contact. And so he's got a walk today, and now the strikeout.
That'll bring up Mauricio Dubon. Had the big 2-run single in the second inning. Later, Jackie Bradley Jr. adding a 2-run home run. 5-run second, 1 here in the third for the Red Sox, who lead 6-3. Dubon fouls it back. Mauricio Dubon, born in Sacramento, California. 21-year-old shortstop. From Greenville to High A Salem last year. Swing and a miss, and Gallardo gets it. But the Red Sox score 1 and lead 6-3. We've seen 9 runs and 11 hits. We're just getting started here in Sarasota. Red Sox lead 6-3. New England's premier hair loss doctor is Dr. Robert Leonard. Do what Wes Welker, Lyndon Byers, and I did. We all restored our hair with Dr. Robert Leonard. Look younger, feel younger, get your hair back. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for a free consultation.
I got a question for you,
Yes.
TC. I've been reading this now for the last couple of nights, and I guess my question would be, once you have it done,
Yes.
do you have to go back for touch-ups, or
No.
That's it? It's
Yeah.
official.
Well, you
It's over.
can.
You can.
You can do it again.
But
Do a little follow-up. Add a little bit here, there, you know. But no, you don't have to. It's, once you get more hair, you're good to go. And I will tell you this, and I'm not going to name names, but a member of the Red Sox staff asked me about it in a little more detail today.
really?
Yeah. A broadcaster here doing this game, not you, asked a little more information about it. So, yeah, word is spreading.
The broadcaster doing this game now, it's got to be a Red Sox broadcaster,
I didn't
right?
say that. There's Orioles broadcasters. There's a national network here today. I saw it doing some interviews.
Really?
Yeah. So I just,
So it's one and done.
My hair is clearly winning over people for Dr. Leonard. If you can believe that. Yeah, well, like I said, you don't get a sunburn if you have more hair. And yeah, I mean, so you get the procedure. They take some hair, they put it up top, fill up your divots there. It's like you ever see me golf? I take a big chunk of grass out, you put some seed in there, it grows back. Then you're good to go. You don't have to keep going back and put more grass.
Because I've heard some people go back for a touch-up.
Yeah, you
every
can.
couple of years.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they go back every couple of years, but some people will go back a second time.
Yeah.
Reason being is the hair that you didn't have replaced is still coming out, right? You're losing more hair. It's not because of anything you did the first time. It's because
More's going.
Some of it is still leaving. But, I mean, yeah, I don't think, it's not like you swing by on the way to a hot date and get a little more hair for the weekend. Fly ball here from Trumbo. Stayed up there a long time, but no problem for Bradley, who gets under it. One down here in the third. We'll bring up Pedro Alvarez with one down. And boy, this game really does typify the concern they have for the Orioles in Baltimore, right? It's a team that's going to score runs, but they are just really not sure about the pitching whatsoever. And they've got some injuries right now they're dealing with. We told you about the catcher at Weeders. J.J. Hardy's had injuries over the last couple of years. He's okay and out there right now as Pedro Alvarez tries to drop a bunt.
Now, they got the shift on Alvarez, and what he was trying to do is bunt the ball down the third base line. And so many times we see that from hitters, but they're unable to get it down there. It's almost like there's too much open grass down there to get it down. But if you do get it down, you get yourself a base hit.
And he looks again, doesn't try per se, pulls it back, but it's a called strike.
Probably a smart move pulling the bat back because the pitch inside awful tough to move down that third base line when you're trying to bunt.
Here's the 0-2 from Haley. Fisted foul by Alvarez. The big concern here right now, Jerry, Kevin Gausman, who's projected to be their number 3 starter right now, has had lingering tendonitis in the shoulder. They gave him a cortisone shot, hoping that'll calm things down. But you're running out of time here. Week away before these guys got to ramp it up for real. And this is not the type of pitching staff that can suffer a loss like that. They lost Wei-Yin Chen in the offseason. Alvarez fouls that away. I still believe in their bullpen in Baltimore, no question about that. It's the rotation to get them there. Zach Britton be the closer. Darren O'Day re-signed, though he was a free agent. And that's an important part of their bullpen. But Brian Mattes, who you remember as a starter, now in the bullpen. He's returning from a lower back strain, just started throwing again Sunday. Dylan Bundy is a starter that they'll have as a reliever, but he might wind up going back to the rotation if they don't think Gallardo or Vance Worley can get the job done.
Yeah, so they got a little bit of a mess as they head into the opening of the season with their pitching. A lot of question marks.
Full count now to Alvarez. Justin Haley, good job to pitch out of that second inning jam, but here a one-out walk to Alvarez in the third. Dead and Company will perform live at Fenway Park July 15th and 16th as part of the Plain Ridge Park Casino Fenway Concert Series. Tickets are still available at redsox.com/Dead and Company. You're a Deadhead?
Some songs, I wouldn't get in band and travel all over the country to follow them like,
spend a month seeing 18 shows. Or,
exactly.
Yeah.
But, there are some songs I like.
That'd be a fun show. John Mayer, the great guitarist, is going to be
Yep.
the lead guitarist in that show. I've got tickets. Be going to that. You guys will be in New York. It's a 4 o'clock game. And do the post-game show. Get over there and see the show after. You could come back from New York if you want. Come see the show.
We'll see about that. I did that one time for Springsteen.
Oh, yeah, you did. That was the first show I ever saw at Fenway. Was that the first concert?
It may have been.
In a long time. Anyway, here's a fly ball left field for J.J. Hardy. Gone! A 2-run home run for the shortstop. And now it's a 1-run game again.
Now, you were talking about it earlier, TC. Hardy's had to battle some injuries the last couple of seasons, and the power numbers have been down for him, but he's got good power. He just showed that right there with a terrific glove. This guy's a very, very steady player for the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, right over the plate between the letters and the belt, and Hardy with a very good swing to take it out of the ballpark.
Third home run of the spring for Hardy. Scope skies that one down the right field line, first base line. Alan Craig kind of pulled away, then jumped back in. The wind kept blowing it. Craig got over there to make the catch.
It's a tough day ballpark, this place in Sarasota at Ed Smith Stadium. It's, you know, it's very bright. The seats are very bright here, and when there's no cloud cover, the field is very bright. So it's a little bit difficult to pick up the baseball here. That's how bad it is for me. I remember the days when the Chicago White Sox were here in Sarasota, and on those fields beyond the right field fence and beyond the clubhouse area is where Michael Jordan was working out. Remember when he turned baseball player?
Sure. Terry Francona was his manager.
There was more media on there watching Michael Jordan than there was watching the game that we were doing.
Glenn DeSarcina from Bill Ricca. Gary DeSarcina's brother was on that team. Tells amazing stories about what a road show that was, with everybody following Michael Jordan's every move.
I bet he took good care of those guys.
Well, he bought the bus, right? That was the big story. He
right.
Didn't want to drive in an old bus. I can get you guys something better. Ground ball. Craig gets over there. He'll flip to Haley for the third out of the inning. The two-run homer for Hardy makes it a 6-5 game.
Tonight,
Familiarity breeds. Debuts, Red Sox All Access. Nez and cameras follow David Price, Mookie Betts, Jackie Bradley Jr., Blake Swihart, and Joe Kelly, each for a day at spring training. You'll get to see all 5 behind-the-scenes episodes during Monday's 30-minute show. It's Red Sox All Access. Monday at 9 right here on NESN. Sox lead it 6-5 going into the 4th inning here. You can get a little sneak preview. Joe Kelly's All Access tonight on NESN Sports Today. Coming your way after Bruins coverage.
I enjoy those shows. They're very good, and credit to our crew who put those things together, because I find them very interesting. I mean, we look at players as robots, and you kind of get to know guys as their personality and what things are really like behind the scenes. Very good stuff.
Yeah, good look at the preparation and some of the interaction with coaches, especially down here at spring training when David Price, for example, still kind of learning the nuances of how the Red Sox do things. An accomplished pitcher, right? He doesn't need to learn how to throw a baseball, but every organization does things a little bit differently.
Got it. You got water? You got water.
Mike Miller up for the second time today, grounded into the 5-4-3 double play, grounds back to Gallardo, kind of knocks it down, picks it up, gets it over to first for the out.
Well, Gallardo had no chance but to knock that down because that was right at him. I mean, he had nowhere to go. Ground ball right back up the middle, and he just spins and takes it right off the body. Fortunately for him, it just dropped right in front of him, and he had plenty of time to get the runner at first base, Miller.
Self-preservation right there.
That's a case where I think the ball caught him. He didn't catch the baseball.
We got Mookie Betts here, one down in the fourth inning. Betts 1 for 2, a single in the second inning. John Farrell said before the game he'd like to see his outfield get 4 at-bats. The idea was that would spread out through most of the game. That might only be 5 innings the way this one's going. Lots of offense early on. Orioles led 3-0. Sox answered back with a 5-run second inning. Another in the third before giving 2 back the bottom half of the inning. Betts sends this one to right field, and it'll drop in there despite the diving effort for Adam Jones. So the second hit of the game here for Mookie Betts.
That ball slicing away from Adam Jones. Of course, Jones, one of the best center fielders in all of baseball. He was shading Mookie in that direction, but the ball got inside, the hands got inside the baseball, and it was sliced. And there's Jones going into the dive right there, but he can't come up with a spectacular play. And Betts right now at first base.
Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 for 2 on the day. Had a single in the first inning and a big 2-run home run to opposite field in the second.
Base hit back in the first inning, goes up the middle with it on a ground ball, and then to the opposite field later in the next at bat for the home run.
Clearly heard you talking about how he's using all fields in the pregame show.
Yeah, that's been the thing, watching him in batting practice, and it's become a habit, a discipline for him during batting practice to use the opposite field and up the middle and pull, and that's really the way you should take BP.
The 0-1 to Bradley, down the right field line, but foul.
Looks like Mookie at first base wants to go. He's only got 1 steal this spring, and I think before the season starts, you'd like to pile up a couple just to get the feeling of it. He had a start and stop on his on that last pitch to Jackie Bradley.
The runner goes. The throw from Joseph, not in time. Stolen base for Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that's always been the way I felt, as a base stealer, that I didn't want to waste bullets early in spring training, but as I got closer to the season, wanted to make sure I felt comfortable getting my jumps, and that time Betts got a very good jump, almost stood right by the bag. You see him having to grab the bag with his hand.
Two and two now. The count. Bradley with a runner in scoring position. Mookie Betts after the single and the stolen base.
Okay. Coming to ya.
Ground ball. Gonna go there. Scope. In time of the out, the runner will advance to third with 2 down here in the 4th inning. Looking for the best seats to the biggest games? Check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace. It's RedSoxReplay.com. It's the best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. Chris Young up for the 3rd time today. 0 for 2 so far on the day. Now the man on third base. Trying to make something happen with 2 down. Red Sox lead it 6-5. Gallardo falls behind 2-0.
You know, just a small thing, but I'm watching Betts down at third base, and he's doing the correct thing when he takes his lead toward home. He comes down in foul territory and comes back on the line. So if there's a pickoff attempt at him, there's a good chance the ball will hit him in the back.
Fly ball, left center field. Off the wall. That'll bring in Mookie Betts. And it'll be an RBI double for Chris Young.
And the bats are hot today. And Buck Showalter making his way out to the mound. He's going to make a pitching change. He's seen enough.
Let's go, Mook.
That ball hit very, very well by Chris Young as he tracks it back to about the 366 marker. And maybe even a little bit deeper than that as it short hops the wall. And the Red Sox pick up another run. So no shortage of runs here today in Sarasota.
Pitching change here at Ed Smith Stadium as the Red Sox. (7-5), 2 down here in the fourth inning of the Red Sox, taking a 2-run lead once again. This Red Sox spring training game on NESN is brought to you in part by Ace Ticket. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox, Bruins, and Celtics tickets. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS to treat someone special to a game now. Ground ball, first base, one pitch, third out of the inning. So Vance Worley comes in and ends it, but the Red Sox had another. They lead 7-5. Red Sox a 7-5 lead here as the Orioles come to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. Nesson is looking for youth baseball and softball teams to be a live studio audience for Nesson Clubhouse this season. Visit NessonClubhouse.com and click on Studio Audience to enter your son or daughter's team. The experience includes a pizza party before the show and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of a studio audience. And the great thing about it is, Jerry, when they come in on Sundays, if they don't eat all the pizza, we go from the green room and grab the rest of it.
I bet you do.
It's all good.
Why not?
Carlos Marmol coming in now after 3 innings of work for Justin Haley. Marmol, an interesting pickup by the Red Sox here in spring training. 17th year pro, signed as a minor league free agent, and has had some impressive years of work over the course of his career. Now trying to reestablish himself after a couple of down years. He's given up 1 run on 3 hits in 4 appearances this Grapefruit League season. 4 innings of work to 1 run. Got the win last Sunday against the Mets.
Yeah, we were talking last week about what the Red Sox were looking for from him, and it was a little bit more velocity than what he's shown so far this spring. Used to be a very hard thrower. Fastball this spring so far has been around 90-91, and they'd like to see that increase.
They've also worked with him trying to drop back down to his older arm slot, which
right.
was a 3/4 delivery. And he kind of somehow got back up top. And you think a guy who comes down a little bit on the side, Jerry, that ball tails away on the side. But for him, that's where the sink comes in with that lower arm slot. That lower release point gives him more sink. And you think about when he was a good pitcher a few years back, you get that ground ball out when you needed it out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it's a ground ball machine. And you're right, TC. From that angle there, the ball has to sink a little bit, and between that and his breaking ball, he could be nasty on right-handers.
But command is the issue, right? That's what he seems to have struggled with over the last few seasons.
Hey, you see the delivery dropping down a little bit to the side, not completely sidearm, but a little bit more than 3/4.
And he leads off with a walk to Joey Rickard to begin the 4th. 3rd time on base without a hit today for Rickard.
Hey, hit batter and walked twice.
Marmol struck out 612 batters from 2007 to 2012. That was the most of any reliever in baseball in that span. But last year in AAA for the entire season, year before that in Miami, his ERA over 8. Runner goes. The throw from Leon not in time. So Rickard with a stolen base, his 2nd of the game.
Now we're seeing a lot of guys taking off today because we're seeing a lot of slow deliveries to home plate. And really not much the catchers can do about it. And you see the jump right there, and it does take Marmol a long time to get that ball home. And the head first slide creates the stolen base for Rickard. He almost went by the back, too. I'll tell you, that dirt around second must be really hard. We've seen a couple of guys. We saw Betts almost go by it.
Yeah, sliding right through to left field. Adam Jones now. The base hit, 1 for 2 on the day. Fouls that off. And that's such an important part of the running game now, Jerry, because with that review and the frame by frame, you lose contact with that bag even for a second, you're out.
Yep.
And I think we talked about review last night, Jerry. I think that's one issue they will have to sort of tweak a little bit. I mean, the whole idea of if the bag under your armpit loses contact for a second, you're called out because you had the glove on you. It doesn't seem right. You beat the throw. You're on the bag. I understand if you overslide it, right, if you go completely off the bag. But again, the fact that it could be just not touching you for a moment as it goes beyond your elbow. Like right here, he's in there, he's leaning back, and he almost loses it. Now, if you lose it that way, if you go beyond it, okay, you're out. But I don't like the idea that for a moment maybe your hip isn't touching the bag as you slide by it. They call you out on the replay.
I think you should be out. I really do. I think that if you're not in contact with the bag, you should be out.
Slow grounder here to short that Dubon tries to field. Tough play either way. tried to rush to it to get Jones at first. Instead, men on the corners with nobody out here in the fourth.
And that's probably going to go as a base hit, I would think, because I think there's little chance that Dubon could have had him at first base. See how far he's going to come. He's playing very deep and then tried to really rush things and never had complete control at all of the baseball. Took a bad hop, too, right at the end, as you can see, right at the lip of the grass.
And that will go as a base hit for Jones. So a walk and a hit. Marmol in a bit of a jam here in the fourth. Machado 1 for 2 on the day. Base hit in the first, stole a base and came in on the 2-run double from Mark Trumbo. Takes a ball here.
Looks like Marmol a little frustrated after that last pitch. He thought he had a strike on the outside part of the plate, not called.
Machado, you may remember, was part of the home run derby last year, All-Star game. Lost in the second round of the home run derby. You mentioned the defense before. He was a Fangraphs, which does that UZR, the ultimate zone rating, which is a metric to try to quantify everything about the defensive end, right from range to the fielding percentage. He was third best. Machado was last season.
I don't know much about WAR, but I do know that he can play a little third base. That is obvious to my eyes when I see him play.
Yeah, wins above replacement is always an interesting number to bring into a conversation, because the idea is you're talking about how many more wins he helps you get above what is considered a replacement player, an average replacement player, which is usually on the bottom end. Yeah, it is a good way to quantify just the value of a guy to a team. But anyone could tell you, even from the eye test, that Manny Machado has a lot of value to the Orioles.
Yeah, both sides of the baseballs. He draws the walk right here, offensively and defensively. So a tough start for Marmol here in the fourth inning. It's been a tough start for everybody who has pitched in this game today.
And Carl Willis, the pitching coach, out to have a quick talk. He slowed down before he got to the mound, wanted to not rush through his 30 seconds. About midway through that 30-second clock now. You can even see the umpire now with 10 seconds remaining is on his way out there. At 0, that umpire is going to be there telling you to move it along. Any objections to the 30-second clock?
Not at all. From the conferences that I've had on the mound, I've been part of, I think 30 seconds is plenty of time to get your point across. Now, a pitcher may feel differently about that, but I think a lot of times pitchers don't even want to see the pitcher coach out there.
Chris Davis has struck out twice today. Each time with men in scoring position. The second inning, struck out with the bases loaded to end the inning. Swing and a miss there. So for the second straight time, he's up with bases loaded. This time, nobody out.
And that last swing, an indication that he's trying to put 4 quick ones on the board right now.
Foul ball there. You know, the contract he signed, he will get deferred money from the Orioles until the year 2037.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That's not a bad thing.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Not a bad thing to know you've got waiting for you. A little something, something waiting for you over the next 20 years. Was it Bobby Bonilla who...
He signed, yeah, had a long one, yeah.
Still gets money?
I think he's still getting it.
Yeah. Davis fouls that one back here. Go, Chris. Davis with that 47 home run season a year ago. 95 career home runs at Camden Yards. That's sixth most since the Orioles moved into the new ballpark 22 years ago now. That one in the dirt. Leone can't block it. The runners advance, and that'll bring home a run.
Been a very ugly day for pitching so far in this game. There's no way around it. It has not been pretty at all. Wild pitch with a man at third base. Bases loaded. That ball bouncing as Leone tried to backhand it. Gets away from him all the way to the backstop. Run comes in.
Two walks, a stolen base allowed, a base hit, a wild pitch. Nobody out yet for Carlos Marmol. Davis staying alive with the foul ball there. Out ahead of that one for the foul ball.
Davis pulls the ball on the ground. He gets a run home. He gets a man at third base with less than 2 outs. Of course, he's thinking about the home run, but if he's going to make an out, not a bad place to go would be to second base. Advance a couple of runners and pick up a run. Red Sox playing back.
Just misses outside. Full count now. Trumbo on deck. Ball 4, the third walk allowed 4 batters, and John Farrell has seen enough. He'll come out and go to the bullpen, and that'll be the end of a quick outing for Carlos Marmol. Robbie Ross Jr., the lefty, coming in, and we'll be back after this. Red Sox leading the Orioles 7-6, bottom of the 4th. Nobody out and the bases loaded here in Sarasota. Enjoy the Fenway experience with your group in 2016. Red Sox group outings are the perfect way to entertain your clients, boost employee morale, or treat the kids to a team outing. Visit redsox.com/groups to learn more. Mark Trumbo coming in to face the lefty Robbie Ross Jr. And Ross getting a chance to come in to put out the fire. Jerry, bases loaded, nobody out here in the 4th inning. First pitch swinging, nice play for Craig. He gets it over to second. Able to get one runner. The run comes into the back door, and we are tied at 7 apiece.
Yeah, the Red Sox playing back, obviously trying to prevent a huge inning. And Craig is able to make a play. Now, if he's in, he probably doesn't make this play, and they don't get an out. But he's able to dive to his left, get that force out at second base. No chance for a double play. But at least Robbie Ross and the Red Sox get the first out of the inning.
So Trumbo grounding into the force out. Pedro Alvarez will come up now with one down and men on the corners. Already the 8th appearance of spring training for Robbie Ross Jr. The ERA 3.86 coming in and 7 innings of work. As you start to piece together what the opening day bullpen will look like, seems pretty clear Ross is on that staff as one of the left-handed relief options.
And these are the kind of situations that he would be in during the season, coming in out of the bullpen. See if he can minimize the damage in this inning.
Swing and a miss there for Alvarez. Ross gets ahead of him 1-2.
And Robbie actually got away with one right there. Wanted that ball down and away. Breaking ball stayed out over the plate, but still no contact from Alvarez.
There's the 1-2 outside. Tried to get him to chase. Inside. Full count now to Alvarez. Little fly ball left field. Young coming in. And the runner cannot advance. So well played by Young, who hung back, made sure his momentum was coming towards home plate with the catch, and kept the runners in their place.
Yeah, when that ball left the bat, because of the shift, it looked like maybe it was going to have a chance to drop in, but Young's able to cover the ground right there. The shortstop, Dubon, had no chance at it. Well, I should say the third baseman, Devers. And Young comes in, and from that position where he was at, all the runner at third base can do is fake down the line and try to draw a bad throw.
So 2 outs now with J.J. Hardy coming up. Hardy hit the 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. That made it 6-5 at the time. Every inning has seen at least 3 runs this afternoon. It's a called strike there. Strike 2 call. Because of injuries, remember last year, Robbie Ross Jr. ended the year closing games for the Red Sox, was 5 for 5 as a closer. Just misses as he went back to the outside. Looking for the called strike.
Yeah, and if he gets out of this mess, the way he is right now, that's quite an accomplishment for Robbie Ross, because this had big inning written all over it.
Goes back inside, misses there, so it'll be a 2-2 count now to Hardy. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off by Hardy. Hardy had a 5-hit game against the Red Sox last year. May 6th at Fenway Park. 12th year now. He's a Major League shortstop. Led all Major League shortstops with a .993 fielding percentage last year. Talk about the offense, but Buck Showalter's team has always played good defense as well. Runner goes. Leone doesn't throw, so Trumbo will stand up at second.
Nobody covering second base there for the Red Sox, so they were conceding the stolen base with the man at third. Not sure that's the right way to go at this stage of the ball game, but you can see clearly the second baseman not getting over to cover the bag.
Fly ball left field. Young under it, and he makes the catch. So Robbie Ross Jr. gets out of the jam. We're tied up at 7 after 4.
You have a vision.
Welcome back to Ed Smith Stadium. I'm Garen Austin. We're in the top of the 5th, and we are tied at 7. TC, Jerry, as you both know, the Red Sox are going to play 2 exhibition games in Montreal against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I was actually talking with Chili Davis about returning to Montreal. And you guys, he said it was a long time ago, but he said he had some fantastic memories of playing there. And he said that it was always one of his favorite cities to play in because, well, the team was so good, but the city is incredible, and he's really looking forward to heading back. Jerry, how about you?
I am too. It's been a while since I've been there, and the last time we were there, it was like a mini Fenway Park. There were so many Red Sox fans. That may not be the case this time with playing the Toronto Blue Jays, who I'm sure will have a huge fan base there. But I love Montreal, and I have had nothing but pleasant experiences both playing there and also as a broadcaster.
You know, my first job, I got to go up and cover the Expos once in a while. My first job was in Plattsburgh, New York, which is just about an hour away. And so I went up quite often in the late 80s and covered Expos games. And that was a team where they always, and Dave Dombrowski was part of putting that together, if you remember, in the mid-80s. And they always had talent. You know, and that was a time when I covered the team where Galarraga was just starting, and they had Tim Raines and Andre Dawson, Delino DeShields for a little while.
Yeah, they had some special players go through Montreal. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep them because they didn't have the type of payroll that they it would be too high of a payroll for them. So a lot of them had to leave.
That said, I covered a series in '87 against the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was a battle for first place in the division. You know, biggest series going on in baseball. And the biggest ovation I heard in those 3 games was when Mario Lemieux had scored in the Canada Cup. The crowd went wild because everybody was listening to the hockey game. Craig trying to slap one down the right field line. It goes foul. He's been on twice today, a walk and a single. Scored a run, stole a base. Busy day for Alan Craig. Craig over 300, another guy who kind of gets lost in the shuffle as he chops this one, second base, but Scope gets over there and just gets it over in time. First out of the inning.
You know, another thing about going to Montreal and playing the 2 games is players enjoy that because it gets them ready for the big stadiums. You know, you basically play in a spring training ballparks all this time, all these games, and going there, you know you're going to have a full house. There's going to be, 40 to 50,000 people there each day. So that kind of gives you the feeling of being in a big league atmosphere, and I think that really helps a couple of days before you really start the season in Cleveland. So I'm looking forward to the trip, and I think the players are also.
It's a night game on Friday, day game on Saturday. First pitch swinging here. Sandy Leon grounds to second base. 2 quick outs here in the 5th. You know, and I'm telling you, I was no longer up there in 1994. But that was when Pedro Martinez was pitching there. Mm-hmm. And that's when they were in first place. And then the strike came, the lockout came. I don't remember if that was a strike or a lockout, but the work stoppage ended that season. Remember, they lost the World Series, did nothing.
Right.
And most people up there will tell you that killed the Expos. Because at that point, they were a first-place team. Pedro was becoming Pedro, and people were falling in love with the way he could deliver on the mound. And there was talk of finally building an open-air stadium closer to the city, right? Olympic Stadium is not an easy place to get to as Rafael Devers gets this one down the third base line. Fair ball for his first hit of the spring here with the big league club. But they were going to build a ballpark back towards downtown. There was a lot of momentum of that. The Canadian dollar was coming back, and then baseball ended, and by the time they came back, they never recovered. Soon they were playing their games in San Juan, and then they became the Washington Nationals. And it's too bad because you wonder what would have happened had the people of Montreal supported a new ballpark, tried to keep that team in. Now, of course, talk of moving an existing franchise there. Tampa Bay is one that quickly comes to mind. But there's also talk of expansion in Major League Baseball now.
They were the ballpark that they were going to build in Montreal was going to be much smaller, obviously, than the Olympic Stadium, but it was not going to be a big capacity as far as crowd goes. If I remember hearing correctly, it was somewhere around 30,000 people. It was going to be about that size, and that probably would have worked pretty well, very well, I think, in Montreal. So we'll see if they go back to that route.
I have not been to Olympic Stadium in probably 20 years. I'm willing to bet it hasn't changed a lot.
It was not the best place in the world, that's for sure. Terrible playing surface when we were last there. Big seams.
When they first built it, it didn't have that roof on top. It was just a round circle with an open air top, and then they added the orange dome, the cap on top of it. The people up there for a long time called it the Big O, OWE, because they were still paying the taxes for having it built in the Olympics 20 years after the Olympics had come and gone. Runner goes, no throw, because it's ball 4. So a base hit to Devers, a walk to Dubon, and 2 on here for Mike Miller.
Yeah, both Devers and Dubon doing very well today. I mean, Devers with a walk and a base hit to go along with a strikeout. Dubon with a single, a drive, and a couple, a strikeout, and then a walk.
And that bottom third of the lineup that you didn't know much about coming in. Devers, of course, a prospect people have talked about for a little while here. Dubon, as you said, the 2-run single, walk now, and Mike Miller trying to keep the inning going. After 2 quick outs, Worley has gotten himself into some trouble here in the 5th. Back to Worley. He will grab it, throw it to first, and a scoreless inning here in the 5th. Tied up at 7 with the O's coming to bat. 7 up here at the bottom of the 5th inning at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. Red Sox season ticket holders experience the best seats, price, benefits Fenway Park has to offer. For information on becoming a season ticket holder, please visit redsox.com/season tickets or call 877-RED SOX 9 today. Tom, Karen, Jerry, Remy, Karen, Austin with you. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday afternoon. If you're a fan of tight defensive games, well-pitched games, glad you hung with us anyway. 14 runs, 16 hits through 4.5 innings here today. Jonathan Schoop leading off this 5th inning. Robbie Ross back out there after a strong 4th inning. Came in with the bases loaded, nobody out. 1 run scored on the force out to get all 3 batters he faced. Schoop with a ground ball to short. Dubon gets to throw across. So 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th.
Yeah, Dubon shows a nice arm right there going across the diamond from shortstop to first base. Ball not hit all that hard by Jonathan Schoop, and Dubon charging it. Kind of a sidearm throw to first base with a little extra something on it.
That'll bring up the catcher, Caleb Joseph. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon, facing Ross for the first time. Had a chat with Robbie Ross Jr. before the game today. You know, we talked last night about Neftali Feliz and those Texas pitchers who had been sort of flipped back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation. Robbie Ross was one of those one season, but he said he thought in his case it was different. He actually had been approaching and hounding the Rangers to give him a chance, so he was grateful for the opportunity. But he said it's certainly very different. You know, you go, and he's talking about Feliz, you go from sort of airing it out for an inning as a reliever to trying to hold something back and pace yourself. And then even when you go back to the bullpen, it's not that easy to flip the switch and going back to airing it out anymore.
I think Agondo's a perfect example of that.
Never was the same guy after he went on that yo-yo. Ground ball to short. Miller is there. Over to Craig. The second out of the inning. Even Robbie Ross said he thought, you know, it took him the better part of last year to sort of get back to really being aggressive and really going after hitters with his fastball.
I think he's found a home as a relief pitcher. You know, he's pretty effective in that role. As you saw, last inning came in and really put a big fire out for the Red Sox. And, you know, he can go multiple innings, can go a couple of innings in a game.
Although I will tell you, Jerry, at the end of the conversation, as he was trotting out, I said, but if they asked you to start, big smile came on his face.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, you know, everybody wants to be either a starter or a closer, right?
Sure. It's where the money is, right? Those are the guys who are in demand every offseason. You're not usually looking for middle relief as your top priority. Oh, just misses outside there.
Although I must say that part of the game has changed in the last few years. Ever since the Kansas City Royals put together that bullpen that they have, teams are kind of leaning in that direction.
Gets the outside corner for the called 3rd strike. So a 1-2-3 5th inning first by a Red Sox pitcher today.
All tied at 7 as we go to the top of the 6th. Mookie Betts had a very good day today. Base hit to the opposite field, a drive and a run. Then another base hit in the 4th inning to be followed by a stolen base for Betts. There's the jump at first base. Almost goes by the bag at second, able to keep contact with it. So Mookie doing a little bit of everything today out of that leadoff spot. 2 for 3. He and Bradley both having very good days.
And Mookie Betts will lead off the 6th inning after the first scoreless inning of the afternoon. Red Sox and Orioles both scoreless. Got a couple of defensive changes for the Orioles that we'll tell you about in a moment. Mookie drops the bunt. Fair ball. Not in time on the throw. Machado came in. Had to make a bang-bang decision, Jerry, there. You're going to try to see if it'll go foul or make a play. Machado almost got him, but the speed of Betts too much.
Yeah, I think when you got a guy like Betts going down the line, you're probably best to let this ball go because it is hugging the line. It may go into foul territory. Probably would have before it hit that third base bag, but Machado's used to making that play. That's a good job by Betts. You know, he didn't rush it. He had Machado back deep at third base. He did not rush to get in that bunting position. Nice and calm, and was able to get it down on the ground. Look at this, Bradley trying to bunt.
Everybody's bunting.
And the Red Sox today bunting, they're running, they're doing everything.
So Jackie Bradley Jr. trying to move Betts along with a bunt after Betts reached safely with a bunt. Tie game here in the 6th inning. That's the inside corner for the called strike. A couple of defensive replacements here. Paul Janish is your new shortstop for the Orioles, and behind the plate, it's Audrey Perez. So, Joseph done for the day. And J.J. Hardy also done for the day. Bradley. Foul ball down the first base line. Well, I think it's safe to say that Mr. Bradley is going to be out there next to Mr. Betts when things open up for real in Cleveland. Still a little question on as to who'll be out in the left field when we sort it all out. Bradley has had a spring like this before. Remember a few years back when he burst his way into the starting position here because he had hit so well in the spring. But this, coupled with how well he hit over the second half of last season, tries to hold up there, but he couldn't. So that'll be strike 3. First strikeout for Worley, who came in to get the final out of the 4th inning.
Now see if Mookie Betts again at first base has the green light to go with Young at the plate. Try to get him in scoring position with 1 out.
Young pops this one. Janish, the new shortstop, underneath it for the second out of the inning. 2 down, 1 on here in the 6th. This spring training Red Sox game on NESN is brought to you in part by Ace Ticket. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox, Bruins, and Celtics tickets. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS to treat someone special to a game now. 7-7 our score with 2 down here in the 6th. A leadoff bunt single for Mookie Betts, who has 3 hits today. Now David Murphy, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Looking for a little 2-out magic.
One pitch, a good count to go on if you're Mookie Betts.
Betts does not go. Murphy lines it to third base. Machado perfectly placed, makes the out, and we stay tied at 7. Bottom of the 6th here in Sarasota. Hair loss expert Dr. Robert Leonard has helped me and so many other men regain their youthful appearance. Don't procrastinate. Treat your thinning hair today with a complimentary consultation at Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR. New outfield now for the Red Sox as we've got some changes here in the bottom half of the inning and a new pitcher on the mound. Roenis Elias. I've been working very hard on this name. There's been some confusion about the proper pronunciation of this young man's name. And so we're going to get it right.
We were actually practicing the name prior to the game today.
Over and over.
And it was right after our open. We came up here and Elias.
Isn't it Elias?
Elias.
Roenis Elias.
You practice too much, you mess it up.
Yeah, you get inside your own head, and it's not a good place to be. But he's out there, and it's interesting, Jerry, because we said at the top of the game today that we knew he was scheduled to pitch. You would think he would be starting. He has been primarily a starter, and he's probably still in the mix for that 5th spot, along with Stephen Wright, but they wanted to see him out of the bullpen today, and I think that sort of gives you a little indication where they think he will be, potentially, if he makes his team at the start of the season. And Adam Jones smokes one back up the middle for a base hit to start the 6th.
3rd hit of the day for Adam Jones. He's 3 for 4 in the ball game with a stolen base. And that'll be the day for Jones, as we'll have a replacement for him.
There is Franklin Guzman in left field, Danny Mars in center field, and in right field, it is Raynel Rosario. And as I told you earlier, Jared, very disappointed that we're not in Jupiter for Mars playing in center field.
You had all kind of stuff written down for
really
that.
Looking forward to that, but that won't happen. Here's Manny Machado. Base hit and a walk today as Elias will send it back over to first. Got a pinch runner at first base after the hit for Jones. That is Xavier. Lost his last name. Avery. Xavier Avery is the new pinch runner. Machado fouls one back into the screen. Elias last year started 20 games for the Mariners, made 2 relief appearances. The major league level, 49 starts, only 2 relief appearances, and that's what John Farrell was talking about with us before the game today. I'd like to get him a little bit of experience out of the pen, but he's kind of a swing candidate, Jerry. You could either have him in the big league bullpen, as Machado sends this one a long way to left field and gone. A 2-run home run for Manny Machado and a 9-7 lead for the Orioles.
That's a hanging breaking ball right there, and Machado jumps all over it. A line drive home run past that 333, well past it, down the left field line. You see the location of that pitch, and that just, well, it had light shining on it to hit it, and certainly Machado did that. You know, I'm not sure that position is locked in cement yet either, and I think these are big outings. I really do, for guys like Bonds, who pitched last night and pitched very well. For guys like Elias right here, I think they're big outings. It's not, I'm just getting ready for the season type of thing.
Right. Now, we talked about that a couple weeks ago with Henry Owens, and you saw how that played out. Henry Owens winds up getting sent down to Pawtucket with one of the first waves of cuts. Here's Davis, sends this one to left field, and that is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Orioles. Some thunder here in Sarasota and a 10-7 Baltimore lead.
Well, you talked about it, TC. I mean, that's the way they're going to score runs. It's like the old Orioles, 3-run home runs, you know, and great pitching. Well, they don't have the great pitching, but they certainly do have the power. And Davis doing a good job staying in against the left-hander that time and taking the ball deep to left center field.
We've got a long way to go here in this one still, but they have scored 27 runs in the last 3 games. Told you about the 11-10 win last night against the Yankees, a 6-5 win against Pittsburgh the day before that. And it's only the 6th inning. The line score out there looks like a phone number, 302-203. Not many zeros on that line score. Mark Trumbo trying to keep that going. Had a 2-run double back in the first inning. Opposite field fly ball. Rosario there for the first out of the inning. Well, if Stephen Wright has the inside track on the number 5 spot, I think we all agree at this point he does. And if Carson Smith will begin the season on the DL, and I think at this point he will, then there are probably 2 bullpen spots open right now. And that means Elias here is in a competition with Matt Barnes, who you mentioned, and Noe Ramirez, who pitched well again last night.
Well, I think Barnes is locked up. I really believe that he's going to be on the pitching staff, and I know that they like Noe Ramirez from what he did last year for him. So, you know, it's not locked in cement that Elias is going to be on this team. And you have an outing like this just a few days before a team's going to break camp, and before a big meeting, which would probably come up on sometime around Monday. It doesn't bode well.
Pedro Alvarez with a fly ball. Danny Mars, the center fielder, makes the catch. 2 outs here in the 6th. So 2 down for Paul Janish, I believe it is. No, it's a J. I believe it is pronounced Janish. I'm not sure.
I think it is Janish.
Okay, we'll go with that. Ground ball, third base. Devers is there. Long throw across the diamond. But Craig can't scoop it out of the dirt. A base hit for Janish with 2 down here in the 6th.
A nice backhanded play at third base by Devers, but then that throw's going to bounce. And, Craig did everything he possibly could to come up with it. Little stumble right there, and that probably caused the rush of the throw. And Craig could not hold on to it at first base. It goes as a base hit, but it's one I think if Craig had to do all over again, he probably figures he could have caught that ball.
Jonathan Scope swinging to the first pitch, swinging a miss there. Scope is the only starter today for the Orioles who hasn't been on base yet. 0 for 3.
Are you closed?
.21 hits combined this afternoon between the Orioles and the Red Sox. There's a base hit to left field. Jonathan Scope joins the Baltimore party.
Yeah, this might be the biggest offensive game we've had this spring. Looks like there's going to be a base runner at first base for Scope. Ariel Alvarez, I believe, coming into pinch run.
The youthful PA announcer agrees with your assessment that Ariel Alvarez is the pinch runner. And that will bring up Audrey Perez. Came in for Caleb Joseph behind the plate. First pitch swinging, long fly ball. Gone. Third home run of the inning for the Orioles. A 3-run shot for Perez. And a 13-7 lead.
Now, this is not good news at all when you're thinking about Elias right now to make this pitching staff in any capacity, whether it be starter or reliever. I mean, this is big-time problems here in the 6th inning.
And Carl Willis out to the mound to talk to Elias.
I mean, you look at everything that's been thrown, and it's all elevated. I mean, everything's about belt high. Major League hitters, AAA hitters, I mean, they're not going to miss those pitches right there. Souvenir for that fan.
Now, they wanted to see him come out of the bullpen today, right?
Yeah, not a success at all.
And you would think, as they weigh all this out, that would probably lead them to want to keep him in a starting position.
I'm not so sure about that.
That's the case. You're going to Pawtucket.
Exactly. I think that's the other option until you can get your act together, because not exactly been a great spring for him.
No, it has not. It certainly has not been a good inning. 6 runs on 6 hits. 3 of the hits are home runs. ZRA coming into the game was 5.59 here in Grapefruit League play. $15 home runs allowed last season as a member of the Mariners. Joey Rickard hasn't had a hit, but he's been on base 3 times, scored a couple of runs, struck out in his last at-bat of the 5th. He gets his 5th at-bat of the game here. With 2 down in the 7th. Little pop fly, that'll fall in there. Dubon was tracking it, but no way to get out there, and Guzman couldn't get in time. Little tweener keeps the inning going.
Yeah, it looked like Guzman, to me, slowed up a little bit trying to make this play because I thought it was going to hang up there long enough for him to call off Dubon and try to make the play. But looked like he backed off right at the last minute, let the ball drop in, and another base runner. Watch him right there. I mean, the outfielders, they have command over the infielders. Once they should call for the ball, and then when they do that, the infield's got to get out of the way. Looks like he was doing it reverse. He was letting the shortstop be the take charge guy on that, and that doesn't work.
Two and 0 the count. Already 27 pitches this inning for Elias. Hits on the day for the Orioles. Taking all the way, 3-1 the count now. Interesting as you lay out this AL East, Jerry. You've got a team in Baltimore that's going to try to lead its way offensively. You've got a team like Tampa that will probably have trouble scoring runs but might have the best rotation in baseball. Red Sox and Yankees feel the bullpen is the big improvement. The Yankees had a good one last year. They got a better one this year. And then Toronto, if the pitching holds, still might be the team that you're measuring yourself against after going to the playoffs last year.
Well, they get that powerful offense, and they're so disappointed at the fact that they did not make it last year, to the World Series, that, they desperately want to go back. So watch out for Toronto.
Runner goes. Elias misses, and that'll do it for Roenis Elias. John Farrell out to take him out of the game. 10 batters in the 6th inning, 3 home runs, a 13-7 lead now for the Baltimore Orioles as we get a pitching change in Sarasota.
Now back here in Sarasota, 13-7 and 3 home runs this inning against the Red Sox. Machado with a 2-run blast on a breaking ball that just hangs out over the plate. Davis going to the opposite field for a long home run, and then Perez, who just came into the game, has a 3-run shot. So a huge inning here for Baltimore.
And that'll bring up Ryan Flaherty hitting for Manny Machado. Ryan Flaherty from Portland, Maine. His father, Ed, the longtime manager of the University of Southern Maine. I called their first Little League World Series not Little League, but Division III World Series championship.
Is that right?
Battle Creek, Michigan. I did. Ryan tells me he remembers growing up running around the house with the tape of that game. They'd pop in the VCR, and it was me calling the championship. Flaherty pops this one high up in the air. The shortstop, Dubon, underneath it, and he will make the catch. But 3 home runs, 6 runs, and a 13-7 lead for the Orioles.
A message from the
Top of the 7th here in Sarasota. 20 runs, 24 hits, and a 13-7 lead for the Orioles. Alan Craig leading off for the Red Sox, and Odrisamer Despaigne is the new pitcher for the Orioles. Despaigne, coming over from the San Diego Padres last year, started 18 games for San Diego. We've got some defensive changes to tell you about soon. I gotta tell you, Jerry, I don't know if you heard it. They have, it's a nice thing they're doing here on a Saturday afternoon. They have a young kid. And a base hit back up the middle for Alan Craig as he gets his second hit of the game. They have a kid doing the PA announcing. You know, the Red Sox will do that on the matinees. It's always nice to get that youthful energy. And the poor kid was about to announce the pitching change. And he said, now pitching for the Orioles. And there was about 90 seconds of complete silence.
I can see that.
And now hitting Alan Craig. Poor kid. But he did a pretty good job. Despaigne is the new pitcher. Sandy Leon now, after the single from Craig, comes to the plate. And we've got all kinds of changes here. As Leon will step out. You got all that down?
I think I do. Mancini at first base. Almanzar at third base. That's who I didn't have.
Almanzar's at third base, yes. Mancini at first. Yeah, Ryan Flaherty at second base as Sandy Leon sends that one just foul. The young PA announcer's still going with the changes, by the way.
Tough job to get a young PA announcer.
He's been talking for about 5 minutes here.
Spring training game. I mean, that's tough duty.
So being told his name is Jack, and he won this as part of an MLB auction, raising money for the Stand Up to Cancer cause. So Jack has been doing the entire game. I thought it was just a one-inning thing. And that's a great idea. And Jack is doing a great job. As we said, we're struggling with it. I guess that's not a big surprise. But
that's to our viewers at home.
Strike 3 called. Just got the outside corner there. So Despaigne strikes out Leone here in the 7th. Rafael Devers with a hit and a walk and a run scored today. Staying in there for his 4th at-bat here in the 7th inning. Red Sox trailing 13-7. A 6-run 6th inning, blowing this open. 3 home runs in the inning off Roenis Elias. Slow chopper to short. Flaherty will turn it in time for the double play. So a 6-4-3 double play and a scoreless 7 for the Sox.
How fast is it? Seven, Baltimore leading the Sox. Following today's Red Sox game, catch an episode of Charlie Moore Outdoors. Charlie takes his sons out on the water for a family fishing competition. Plus, Charlie surprises everybody when he declares who in the family is the best angler. Don't miss a brand new episode of Charlie Moore Outdoors immediately after this Red Sox game. Nolan Reimold leading off the 7th inning. There's Jack. There he is after doing a very impressive job today. And you can see he's locked in, Jerry. He's not taking this lightly. The base hit up the middle for Nolan Reimold in his first at-bat of the game.
Yeah, he should be locked in over there because I tell you, you're at the stage of the game now where it is not easy at all to figure out who's in this ball game. I mean, we scuffle with it. Everybody around down here does. Hopefully he's got some assistance over there that is helping him with the transactions. But he's doing a good job, and good for him.
Well, this is Michael Almanzar, the 3rd baseman, wearing number 96, as he gets his first at-bat of the game, taking the spot from Mark Trumbo. But I'm telling you, he barely had enough time to get in all the changes last half inning. It's a relatively quick inning. He barely got through.
Yeah, the double play got him.
Yeah, he was rushing through the double play, but he got him in.
There's a pop fly from Almanzar. Coming in from center field is Danny Mars. He'll make the catch. This is number 25. Apparently is pinch hitting.
Hyun-Soo Kim.
It is indeed Hyun-Soo Kim, who they look at as a potential leadoff hitter on this team this year. I think the additions of Kim and Trumbo will sort of round out that offense. Hyun-Soo Kim last year played in the Korean Baseball League, and in 141 games had 28 homers and 121 RBI while batting .326. So trying to become the first Korean-born player in Baltimore Orioles history. Makes his major league debut. Turns away from that one. Varvaro came in to finish up the 7th inning, back out here in the 8th. One down, one on. Red Sox down by 6. The throwback to first. And Reimold is back in time. Kim, little flare to center field. Mars got a good break on that. He comes in to make the catch.
He really did. He got that ball looked like it was going to drop in between the shortstop and center field, but Mar got an excellent jump on it and was able to cover the ground, come in, make the play. So he's made both outs here in the 7th inning for the Red Sox.
I tell you, Jack's doing a good job because I still don't have all the changes in my card yet.
What are you missing, TC?
I don't know where anybody's batting.
No.
You know what I mean? I know where they're playing.
Just take them as they come.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
It's Yanish, Alvarez, and Perez, the next 3.
Yeah, I got that right. Okay. Avery's got to be in there somewhere.
I think he's in the 2 slot.
So Alvarez must be your leadoff hitter. I don't have Alvarez in the lineup yet.
Oh, you don't?
No. Is he the leadoff hitter?
I had him hitting in the 8 spot. I could be wrong.
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, you're right. He'd be on deck. Yeah, he's on deck. All right, there you go. Mancini would be the leadoff. He's the first baseman. That's who I didn't have. Big pickup from our guys in the control room. As Yanish sends his center field. 3 putouts in center field for Mars as we head to the bottom of the 7th. on NESN is brought to you in part by Ace Ticket. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Tom Karen, Jerry Remy, Garen Austin with you here in Sarasota, Florida, where the Red Sox trail 13-7. Coming up to bat here in the top of the 8th. Mauricio Dubon is back up, his 4th at-bat of the day. And a 2-run single here, base hit to right field. 2nd hit of the day for Dubon.
On base 3 times, a single to drive in a couple, a walk back in the 5th. Now the base hit to lead off the 8th. Taking the ball to the opposite field. Nice effort by Flaherty as he'll go into a dive at second base, but can't come up with it. And Dubon with a 2-for-3 afternoon going right now.
Mike Miller, the number 9 hitter, his 4th at-bat of the day. 0-for-3 on the day. He's grounded into a double play and twice grounded out back to the pitcher. Sox led this game 6-3 at one point. And Miller gets hit by the pitch. Despaigne putting the first 2 batters on here in the 8th.
That's the last thing in the world he wanted to do, is hit with a lead like he's got right now, hit anybody. Just above the belt, under the elbow, it looks like. It gets Miller.
And that'll bring up Ranael Rosario for his first at-bat of the game. High foul ball down the right field side and out of play. Told you Red Sox home tomorrow against Philadelphia, a game you'll see here on NESN. Dave O'Brien back for that one. Monday, they host these Baltimore Orioles. Then they are across town in Minnesota on Tuesday. They split the squads for 2 road games at Tampa Bay and at Pittsburgh. And then one more across town against the Twins to wrap it up on Thursday. So Monday, tomorrow and Monday, the last games at JetBlue Park of Grapefruit League play.
Yeah, David Ortiz being honored tomorrow.
Monday.
Monday. I'm all messed up this week,
right.
TC.
It happens.
I think today's Sunday.
You're still trying to get over yesterday not being a day game. Right? They're completely threw you for a loop.
It's been a very strange weekend.
How about our great photographer, Pat Kamir, actually went to the ballpark at like 8 a.m. yesterday.
Thought it was a day game. Yep.
Plus, you don't have a phone. You're dealing with that.
No,
you got a lot going on.
I got a lot going on right now. Yeah, you're right. Hopefully, I'll have a phone tonight.
Yeah, it's quite a meeting here before the game today. Mike Narachi, our great director, here with us, and he and I were basically trying to come up with numbers you would want in your phone.
Exactly.
You got to start all over. You're getting a new phone. You used one of your old, not old, but used one of your blank Remy Report scorecards. And you've got numbers all over.
I've got numbers everywhere on this thing, and it's something that's going to come in very handy tonight.
Be careful here. I'm going to cover that. You can't. I mean, if people took a screenshot,
yeah, all this area up here is all contacts.
All phone numbers. Some very important numbers there.
Yeah.
I don't want that to.
Can't give those away.
No,
but
TV, that'd be bad.
And I got a pretty good list here, and I will have the same number. So.
Well, that was the great thing, too. So you're using, my phone and Mike Narachi's phone to try to call your wife so that she can check if your phone.
Let me tell you something, TC. My wife has had enough of me over the last 2 days with this phone. If I go home tonight and there's no phone there, I better not say a word.
That's it. You will just grin and bear it. On a fly ball here from Danny Mars. Center fielder under it. Avery will make the catch, and the runner, Dubon, will advance to third. So after the back-to-back singles to start the inning, the strikeout of Rosario and the fly ball out from Mars brings Despaigne 1 out away from getting out of it.
As a matter of fact, but I'd like to say, if you're watching and you are in my contacts on my phone, please give me a call, because I have no clue what your number is.
Tonight. If you could call Jerry tonight.
It doesn't have to be tonight, but within the next couple of days, because I don't know what your number is.
Right. So tonight, once you've had time to open the phone, get it working. You've done the hello and all that stuff you have to do at the beginning.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
You got to do all that, and so then some people could call you, and then you'd have their number.
I would have their number. Yes.
Right. Maybe text you so that it would say this is who it is.
Yeah, and then
you can put it into contacts.
Exactly.
Because if they call you might not answer it.
Pretty good chance of that.
That's a good point. The guys in the control room pointing out, you wouldn't know who was calling anyway, because all of that memory is gone. It's just,
everything's
all
gone.
going to be random numbers.
It's wiped out. Everything's gone.
Okay, you got a long night ahead of you.
I don't think I'll get it all done tonight, but I'm going to try to get a start on things anyway. Get some of the very important people in there, that I may be hearing from in the next couple of days.
Like the president of Apple. The base hit the right field. That'll bring in a run. So Guzman, an RBI single here with 2 outs, driving in Dubon. Red Sox get one back.
Now, there's been no shortage of offense in this one for either ball club today. Guzman getting his chance now and going to the opposite field. Nice swing there, and picks up an RBI. So the Red Sox trying to mount some type of comeback. 13-8 now.
And Chad De La Guerra gets his first at-bat. First pitch swinging. Foul ball down the left field line.
I jump in with it. Jerry, I just want you to know that I have 2 phones, so if you ever lose your phone or it dies again, you can always borrow one of mine. Actually, and yesterday when people found out you didn't have a phone, they started calling me and texting me for you. I felt like I was your phone service yesterday.
Hey, Gary, can you do me a favor? I'm serious.
Oh, this one pops out of the glove. The runners advance. All right, go ahead, Jerry.
Could you call my number and see if my wife picks up? I'm just curious if she got the phone, if I got a new phone. I'm dead serious.
She's serious. When you're done with this here, call
I don't think
Jerry.
She would be surprised.
Just call Jerry's phone number.
I don't think she would be surprised to hear
care.
from me. I don't think she would be surprised to hear from me.
That's all right. Let her be surprised.
Yeah, she just wants this to end.
Yeah.
As do our viewers, probably. That one's low. Takes a village to raise somebody who has lost their phone. That is what I've realized. It's not easy in this day and age. Two down here. Runners on second and third after the passed ball there. Again, Chad De La Guerra at the plate. Yeah, I mean, we should point out you didn't lose it. This was completely self-inflicted. This was trying to do something.
Big mistake on my part.
Swing and a miss. So the Red Sox get one back, but they still trail 13-8. Run salute here in Sarasota, 13-8, Orioles leading. Nesson has a brand new site for car enthusiasts. Nesson Fuel, your new home for everything automotive, including exclusive driver interviews, race recaps, and much more. Go to NessonFuel.com. Follow Nesson Fuel on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram today. Daniel Alvarez facing a new Red Sox pitcher, Chandler Shepard. The 23-year-old righty. See his numbers last season. Started in Greenville and moved up to High A Salem.
A lot of guys, a lot of guys in this game today called up from the minor league camp to participate.
Cold water, last call.
Alvarez, ground ball to short, knocked down from Dubon, and the throw high and into the seats. So Alvarez will be credited with a single, and then an error on the throw will allow him to advance.
Now you could see as soon as he released that ball on the backhand that it was going to go sailing over the head of the first baseman, not even close. Had trouble making a clean catch on it, and then let it absolutely fly into the first row.
Shepard in his third pro season. Drafted out of the University of Kentucky. Played a little Cape League baseball, 2013. He's a member of the Harwich team. Base hit to left field here for Perez. The throw from left field over everybody. A little bit on that. Guzman unleashed it. And that'll be an RBI single. Perez advancing.
I don't want to laugh, but we got some guys trying to show their arm off, don't we?
We've got some arm strength.
I mean, Dubon throwing it into the first row in the infield, and then Guzman, not even, you could see as soon as he left his hand, it was going to go flying. And I think Shepard, the pitcher who was backing up the play, was surprised that the ball had traveled this far. I mean, this thing is gone. You can see
he almost reached the seats without a bounce.
Wow.
A little adrenaline on that one. Base hit here up the middle from Mancini. This time the throw will be cut off at the mound. So 3 straight singles to begin the 8th inning off Chandler Shepard. Chandler Shepard is the 14th round pick of the Red Sox in 2014. Missing outside there. Foul ball down the first base line. Xavier Avery walked in his only at-bat so far today. That was back in the 7th inning. No, that was the end of the 6th inning, actually. As they batted around. 11 different batters in that 6th inning for the Orioles. 6 hits, 3 home runs in that inning alone. Actually, 7 hits, beg your pardon. 7 hits, 3 home runs. Popped to third base. Over there to make the catch for the first out of the inning. Red Sox spring training baseball is live with the MLB.com at-bat app Stay connected all spring with radio broadcasts, highlights, stats, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone or tablet today or tonight when you get your phone back.
Hey, I got to tell you, TC, you know, this you got to be honest as an analyst, and this really has been a horrible game.
You're not helping our 8th inning ratings here, Jerry.
Well, there's no sugarcoating this game. It's been terrible. It really has. There's been a lot of bad play in it, a lot of bad pitching.
Funny this time of year, isn't it? Last night was a game where the Red Sox were doing a great job with the situational hitting, moving runners. Remember last night they were like it was a regular season game. It had that feel to it. Then you come here today, and from the start, you had the feeling that neither team was going to have anything going.
There has never been any flow to this game on either side.
Just misses down low there. In there for the call strike. 2-2 the count now to Ryan Flaherty.
Come on.
The 3-2 to Flaherty. Lines this one to right field, out of the reach of Rosario, who dives for it. That'll go all the way to the wall. Mancini was held up at third base, so Flaherty now will be tagged out trying to get back to second.
I'll tell you what happened there. You know, it's because of the score, and that's why the runner was held up at third base. They don't want to be kind of rubbing it into the Red Sox. Flaherty, unaware of that, thought for sure because this ball got by that the run was going to score, so he gets trapped between second and third. He's doing his job, but the third base coach was also feeling like he was doing his job by not sending the runner, and that's what caused the out at second base. Because normally, in a tight ball game, that run would have scored, Flaherty would have been on third base.
So 2 down now for Nolan Reimold. Reimold got a base hit in the 7th inning when he came in for Chris Davis.
Nice one.
15 runs on 18 hits for the Baltimore Orioles. 8 runs on 13 hits for the Red Sox. Fouled back. They have had 5 multiple run innings here today. A crooked number, as we like to say. Lots of crooked numbers today, Jared.
Lots of crooked numbers on that scoreboard today. You're not kidding, TC.
That's high, and be 3-1 now to Reimold. Chandler Shepard. Foul tip there. Line drive back up the middle, base hit, that'll bring in a run.
Little bloop to center field that time. By Reimold and drives in a run, so they continue to pile it on at 16-8 now. Could be worse had the third base coach sent in another run of that. That means Flaherty would have scored on that. Butler out to try to calm down his pitcher Shepard. Try to get that one more out and get the Red Sox to the plate in the ninth.
Here's your line score. When Jerry gets his phone tonight, he can try dialing that 302-206-0330, I guess would be the last number. Red Sox had that 6-3 lead for 2.5. It's been all about the Orioles offense since then. Good block there by Butler. Butler returned to the Red Sox organization after 1 year in the Washington Nationals organization. Last year was with the Nats AAA team in Syracuse. Played 83 games. In 2014, he made his major league debut with Boston after more than 400 games catching in the minors. And Jerry, you've been around this game a long time, but every now and then you'll see a guy get called up like that, and the entire organization smiles. Yeah. Everyone's happy for the guy who finally gets a chance.
Guy that just, stuck with a lot of hard times at the minor league level to get that one opportunity to try to stick at the major league level, and you just have to feel good for them when they come up.
Swing and a miss there. 2-2 the count to Almanzar. In that call-up, Butler had a 3-for-4 game with a couple of doubles against these Orioles. He's certainly here as a depth catcher, but you never know how these things pan out. Right now, they're feeling pretty good about things at that position with Blake Swihart coming up such a good offensive year. Ryan Hannigan slated for the big league staff. Christian Vasquez probably start the year in AAA, but he's destined for a strong major league career. You've got Butler, you've got Sandy Leone, a couple veterans to round out the catching depth. Fly ball to center field will end it. We head to the ninth with the Sox down by 8.
Hi, checking out the RAV4?
Yep, looking for something fun.
Ninth inning here in Sarasota. Tonight, after Bruins coverage on NESN Sports Today, highlights and reaction from Toronto as the Bruins take on the Leafs and will debut a new installment of Red Sox All Access with pitcher Joe Kelly. It's all tonight after Bruins coverage on NESN. A new pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, Michael Givens, on the mound for Baltimore. Givens, part of the bullpen mix going into the season, and he's had himself a nice spring here with his team. He's given up just one earned run in 8 appearances. This now his 9th appearance.
He has to be tough on right-handers. You can see the way he slings the ball to home plate, kind of hides it and then drops down to the side a little bit. Very tough to pick up for right-handed hitters.
And you still got O'Day on the staff, so you'll have guys coming at you with all kinds of angles. Fly ball for Allen Craig to right field for the first out of the inning. Three more preseason games coming your way on NESN. You and Dave O'Brien will have tomorrow's game against the Phillies back at JetBlue. Then you and I will be in Montreal next weekend. Yeah, we were talking about Montreal earlier, and someone sent me a note on Twitter. Over 106,000 tickets have been sold for those 2 games.
That's great.
Be a fun atmosphere up in Montreal. Come on. Warren Cromartie, the former Expo, is kind of the big, the point person for the big push to try to get baseball back in Montreal.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Pedro Martinez supposed to throw out the first pitch?
I believe he is. I don't think that has officially been announced yet, but winter weekend that we had at the Foxwoods there back in January, I asked Pedro if he was going to be there. He said absolutely. He can't wait to go back. Love the city, love the organization. As Flaherty plays that one easily, so I'm sure there will be a lot of demand for Pedro in that game. So it all comes down to Rafael Devers, who will get his 5th at-bat of the game. 16-8. Orioles leading here. Orioles had won all, Red Sox rather, had won all 3 meetings with the Orioles here in spring training so far. Two down here in the 9th. Ground ball up the middle, a base hit. And Devers gets his 2nd hit of the day.
That's been a nice day for Devers. You know, as he walked, he's got a couple of hits. So offensively, a pretty impressive day for him, which you have to feel good for him about.
Mauricio Dubon getting his 5th at-bat. 2 hits on the day. Had a 2-run single in the 2nd. Had a base hit in the 8th, and he scored a run as well. Also walked. So 2 for 3 with a walk on the afternoon. Slices this one foul. Just outside. The 1-2 from Givens, misses outside again.
Again, tries that slider away, and not chasing is Dubon. Also had a pretty good day, as you mentioned, a couple of hits, a couple of RBIs, walk.
Fouls that one back. Stephen Wright's scheduled to pitch tomorrow for the Red Sox. The game will bring you against the Phillies. Be an important start for him. He tries to nail down that number 5 spot. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. So a big offensive afternoon for the Baltimore Orioles. 16 runs on 20 hits as they double up the Red Sox here in Sarasota. Final score for the final time. Baltimore 16, Boston 8. For Jerry Remy and our terrific NESN broadcast team, I'm Tom Karen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Sox and Phillies coming your way tomorrow at 1.